in a lake. The lake does lead into the ocean, but still, but no one uses this lake. This beautiful, picturesque tourist destination. No one ever goes there.
Yeah, there's no houses on the lake. I was just in Maine. There's houses on every lake.
Yeah, the only people anywhere is this old couple and occasionally tourists. But yeah, I don't know.
How happy were you to watch? Now, it was funny watching Brendan Gleeson fall into traps.
It was. It was. I really liked Brendan Gleeson as an actor more before seeing this film. I don't think he's very good in it.
Now, to be fair, it's 99, right? So he was on Happy, Sad, Confused, and he was in Braveheart. He had other roles. But this was like one of his first big American breaks. So, I mean, at the time, though, it had Bill Pullman, it had Fonda, it had David E. Kelly. David Miner was fresh off, he had done Friday the 13th movies that were hits. He did Halloween H2O, which was a really big hit. So the guy was hot. So this movie made sense, right, to be in. Hey, David E. Kelly script, giant crocodile, Stan Winston, from the dude who just directed that successful Halloween movie.
And you've got a cameo by Mariska Hargitay.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh off of 13 episodes in ER.
I gotta tell you, though, Kevin's a real heartbreaker.
Oh, Kevin, how in the hell did Alan Arkin... Is it Alan or Adam Arkin?
Adam Arkin, yeah.
Adam Arkin. He has Mariska Hargitay and Bridget Fonda on the go at the same time.
Kevin.
I'm nothing against Adam Arkin. Doesn't seem the type.
Well, he's a real Kevin. He's very... I think you see the way he talks to her. I think he's just a smooth operator in the world of paleontology.
Yeah, maybe they are a bit limited in terms of the heartthrobs in that world.
I mean, he works at the American Museum of Natural History, and he's a boss there. So maybe he has a bit of a rock star element. Maybe he discovered a new species in Guatemala. But he has a very quiet confidence to him.
It seems like an abuse of power.
Oh, could
maybe,
be.
Maybe. I don't want to make this go down a dark route. I feel like he should, I don't know, think more carefully about his actions. But yeah, that's kind of a scene that feels like it was missing, where you have him calling in Bridget Fonda, says, come talk to me for a minute, cut to her crying and explaining to Mariska Hargitay that she's been dumped.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Mariska Hargitay knows that she's been dumped because she's the one who is seeing her former boyfriend. I'm not sure if seeing the scene in the middle would have been beneficial. Make Bridget Fonda's character a little bit more endearing, instead of she's comes across quite a brittle and unlikable character throughout. When she's like this New York woman who's gone to Maine, doesn't want to be there, she's allergic to timber, she hates all kinds of bugs, she hates camping. Yet as a child, she grew up on a lake with her grandparents, skimming stones. And some inconsistencies in this script.
The country in this movie is beautiful. She's not going to somewhere that's just gross. They are surrounded by beauty out there. You know what I mean? Like, she's not... Yeah. She has a giant tent, too.
It looks... I am not a camping fan. I think I'd be okay in this situation. Because they've got, like, a party camp going on with, like, a whole bunch of tents. And they're very nice-looking tents. And Oliver Platt's tent has a desk in it with books on it. Like, he's brought his whole home office into his tent.
Yeah, and he landed by helicopter. So did he have a separate, 18-wheeler?
He must have done, but how did that get there? Because our main cast get there by boat. Everyone else rocks up in a car.
Wow. So, I don't know. I remember you and I once, we found out that there were some sharks in a lake. And you and I were like, okay, well, let's not take our canoeing trip. These people find out that there's a gigantic... That was a great weekend, by the way, man. We all had fun. All the families got together. All the lamb.
Fun.
Yeah.
And no one got eaten by a shark because we stayed out of the lake.
They go out in little itty-bitty canoes. And so...
And what do you know? Someone gets their head bitten off.
Yep.
It's just silly.
I feel like in movies, heads are much easier jettisoned. And if you think... like, so in Friday the 13th, when he goes to Manhattan, he punches a dude's head off of his shoulders. Jason Voorhees punches a guy's head off. In this movie, this alligator, like butter, knocks a dude's head off and doesn't take him with because the guy's still in the boat.
Yeah, well, it comes off very easily. Just it's very cleanly as well.
I kept hoping for a pop noise.
Yeah, but that's just it's so clean. It's like the Croc had a circular saw. And you talk about heads being fragile in films. I always think of the Deadly Friend basketball decapitation.
That thing is like a watermelon.
Yep.
But not that thick. The thing, oh yeah, that really explodes.
Yeah,
I love that scene actually.
This guy's head is just lopped off, but remains intact because we see it later in the film. So the Croc didn't even eat it. That's the head that Bridget Fonda stumbles upon and screams, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's his head. So the Croc bit his head off, didn't want the head, didn't have the rest of him, so it's just sport for the crocodile at that point.
And I'd never really done sport before. You guys are attacking me.
Yeah. This is a warning. Like, don't come back. And they come back.
You know what scene did give me tension? I don't know if you felt this way, but when the guy from Fish and Game, who just kind of responds with one word comments, which I thought was pretty funny. I don't know if you remember that. When Brendan Gleeson's like, you fish and guys just, fish and wildlife guys just respond with one word answers. And the guy goes, yeah. But when he goes into that beaver nest underwater and starts sticking his hand in there, I'm like, that's pretty ballsy, right?
It was quite a tense scene. That was like the opening scene of the film, isn't it?
I wasn't worried about the gator. I was worried about his hand.
Yeah, well, because at that point you don't know what's in there. Yeah. If you're going into this film blind, that could be anything.
Like you're going into a beaver's home. It's gonna bite you.
Yeah, and there is a beaver does swim out and almost gets him.
Oh yeah, you're right. And the beaver's like, I'm out of here. So that crocodile knows that beaver's there, and it hasn't killed the beavers.
Well, it might have eaten some other beavers.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Leaving some to keep the population going. But also, it doesn't need to eat the beavers. It's being fed a cow every other day.
Oh yeah.
So, no wonder it's 30 feet long.
But I guess that crocodile could have a relationship with Betty White, and her last name's Bickerman in this movie. Dolores Bickerman. It's like, come on, guys.
She is foul-mouthed.
Yeah, she
is. Yeah. She's not making friends in this film. Her character. It's always entertaining watching Betty White swear. It's just a fact of life, I think. But they do just lay it on a little thick here.
Is this what kickstart the Betty White swearing craze?
I think it certainly helped. But she calls Brendan Gleeson fuck meat.
Yeah.
Which there's your PG-13 rating for the show.
Yeah. Now I heard that and I was like, did she just say that? Like what?
Yes, she did.
That's an interesting word. And then she's like, if this is where if I had like a penis, I'd tell you to suck my dick. And I'm like, geez Louise, Betty White. That's crazy.
She's like a Stifler from the American Pie film. So she's just potty mouthed all over the place.
Was it necessary?
I don't think it was. I think it's just an attempt at throwing some comedy in here. None of the comedy really works a great deal.
I liked a couple of the lines in it. When Hector, Oliver Platt says, I'm a civilian, not a trout. I thought that was kind of funny.
Well, yeah, pretty much every line he has is some kind of an attempt at humor. Like when he first arrives and he's got these headphones on, so he's having to shout, and he's just yelling at Bridget Fonda, like, "Did she tell you we had sex together?"
Oh, yeah.
Just did they? I don't think they did. So like a lot of things he says are funny, but also sometimes aren't funny when he's trying to hook up with the female deputy.
Oh yeah, let's mate.
Yes, can she stay here? We were hoping to mate. It's like, okay. But she seems into it, which okay.
She was all about that Platt.
Oliver Platt is not a small man, but he calls Brendan Gleeson fat on multiple occasions.
I do like that line. Sure.
Yeah. The world's round and so should you be, I think.
When he goes, Sheriff, when friends or family say certain things, they tend not to register. So it helps to hear it from a complete stranger. You're fat.
Right, but look at a mirror, Platt.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger guy myself, so I'm allowed to say this. Oh.
Yeah, you're right, though. I never thought about that.
It feels like it may have been written for a different character. He's clearly playing the Jeff Goldblum role.
Oh.
He's playing the Goldblum in Jurassic Park role of the eccentric scientist guy who's brought in to stir things up a little bit. And if Goldblum was in that role, I would have been too close to Ian Malcolm. But it feels like it was designed for a thinner man.
Do you want to hear something interesting?
Go for it.
So we just finished up we have a Final Destination series, podcast series coming out. We did one.
Oh my God.
What?
You didn't include me for the Final Destination franchise?
Oh, really? You love those movies?
I love those films.
Oh, dude, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, you know what? I got that reaction from someone else too. They're like, why? But we did 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. And did you know Stifler's character, Sean William Scott, who also was in some good 1999 movies, the character he was supposed to be playing in the original script was a very large man. But they're like, that's too, that's too, we're tired of that trope of these, larger nerds being picked on and stuff in their faces. So they cast Sean William Scott, but then they kept him eating Milk Duds all the time and being this, they kept all the same dialogue.
They kept the same costuming, I think, because when he's on the plane, he's wearing this giant hockey jersey.
Yep, Kevin Smith-esque.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he's wearing giant Jinkos. But yeah, they never rewrote the script, so maybe they did that with Lake Placid.
Maybe they switched them. Maybe Sean William Scott was supposed to be playing the Oliver Platt role, and Platt was supposed to be in Final Destination.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Hey, I have a quick question for you. How would you rank the Final Destination movies? I just want to know.
2, 5, 1, 3, 4.
Wow, that's interesting.
I really like the second one. I think it's the first one I watched. 4, when I say 4 is last, 4 is you need to keep digging a really, really deep hole to put 4 way in last place, because it's such a terrible, terrible film with some of the worst CGI I've seen in any film.
It took me 4 times to watch an 80-minute movie. Yeah,
it's not good. It's awful. I like the cross-cutting between the car wash and the swimming pool. That kind of the death and the not death. That's the only good thing I can remember from 4.
Hey, that's a soggy death right there.
That is a soggy death. Yeah, that's one of the worst deaths in the whole saga. Is that guy having his innards ripped out through the swimming pool drain?
Oh, that movie is so bad. John Levengood, who writes for Movies, Films, and Flicks, he said it's the 8th best Final Destination movie.
Yeah, I've been reading his coverage on him. Yeah,
that's pretty funny. And then, so for me, man, it's 1, 5, 2. I would watch all the time, and then 3, 5. Mm-hmm. 3, 4. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, 1, 5, 2, 3, 4. I like the first. Okay. I like 1, 2, and 5 a lot.
Yeah, me too. I like quite a lot of 3 as well. And 3 had this option on the DVD. I like how we don't want to talk about Lake Placid today. And 3 had this option on the DVD where you could choose their fate. It's interactive. You could make decisions on some of the characters. So you've got that Frankie Cheeks character. I'd like to let everyone know I'm not calling this up. This is all from memory. Frankie Cheeks is, you can decide whether or not he turns around in his car and sees the people honking him from behind. And if he looks around, then he gets out of the car and goes on and gets arrested for trying to take a female police officer back to his house to photograph her like a model. He gets arrested in a coffee shop and gets sent to prison. It's so weird. They filmed it. You can watch it. I don't know why they did this. Such a random little interactive feature on the disc.
They had the Infinifilm for the second one, where you can click on a button and then they show you how all the stunts happened for the second one. It was really cool. You know the logs. You know the logs.
Yeah, that's what I love. What I love is the opening of the second one. That's the best of the openings.
Now, when that log goes through and destroys that guy's head and it's all mush.
Can't drive behind a truck carrying logs and not think about it.
I gotta tell you though,
change lanes.
There's some good log action in Lake Placid.
Is there?
Well, when the crocodile bites one and can't kill Fonda, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it good log action. There are some logs close to action, but it's no Final Destination 2.
But I gotta tell you, whenever we told people that we're doing the Final Destination series, I everyone just goes that car scene in the second one.
Yeah.
People
just. The first death post car scene is the guy with he gets the ladder through his eye. Yeah. I love that scene. I've written a whole post just talking about that scene.
He slips on the spaghetti.
I just love it. It's the spaghetti. Because it's the exact same thing as when he's in the actual crash where he's trapped in his car and he can't get out and it's on fire. But that's not what kills him. It's the thing plowing through him from behind, the giant truck that kills him. So when he's in his kitchen, he gets his arm trapped with that watch in the garbage disposal, and then the kitchen's on fire. But that's not what kills him. It's the thing plowing through him when he sits on the spaghetti and the ladder goes through his eye.